Hi, it's Jeff.
And Denise from Mousesteps.com.
And this is episode number 351
351
of Mousesteps Weekly.
Sponsored by MEI Travel and Mouse Fan Travel. It's hard to believe parks are starting to open here. Legoland tomorrow and their hotels. And then we're going to have Universal, SeaWorld, and eventually Walt Disney World next month. So if you're looking for a travel agency, we highly recommend MEI and Mouse Fan. They can help you with wherever you're wanting to go. If you decide you want to book soon, there isn't a lot of Walt Disney World that I don't think it can be really booked right now. However, you could book for Universal, you can book for Legoland hotels, and so but we're going to talk all about that in the show.
Right, and times like this, when there's all sorts of changes happening almost every single day, it's great to have somebody that's able to act on your behalf and make those changes and keep things going for you.
Yes, and they've been doing it for over 20 years. And we're sorry for being late. We'll discuss that more at the end of the show. We're going to just kind of go into Central Florida news.
Yeah, the big news that you're seeing here is Walt Disney World will start its reopening on July 11th.
And so that will be the Magic Kingdom and
Disney's Animal Kingdom.
Yes, Disney's Animal Kingdom. And then on the 15th, it will be Epcot and Disney's Hollywood Studios, which I always kind of thought Epcot would open with the other parks. They sort of have to because there's so many partners within the parks. So it'll be very interesting to see how Epcot works, because you won't have those international programs. And of course, the college programmers, I don't think will be here either for probably for a little while.
And let me just explain what you're watching. Disney sent us some really cool B-roll, and so we have all sorts of news, and while we're talking about all that news, we'll just let all this great B-roll run in the background.
Okay, and I have all this written out just as sort of as far as talking points. So more is opening at Disney Springs. Of course, that opened on March 20th? Or May. It was not March. It was May. And so we are moving along with Disney Springs, and Raglan Road will be opening, let's say, on June 10th, and then Cooks of Dublin the 3rd. World of Disney just opened, and we're going to show that later. And the first day was absolutely crazy, but then the next day was not. So we really want to show both busy, but also where we could walk through the store and just walk in. The average day is not too bad there now. So we want to discuss that. But also, smaller parks are opening here. We have Gatorland and Fun Spot. All of that is already open.
Now, Gatorland and Fun Spot and Legoland are mask optional, where all the bigger parks like Walt Disney World and Universal, things like that, all will be mask mandatory.
And SeaWorld, I think,
SeaWorld,
as well.
The big three.
But Fun Spot has done a survey because they are wondering what people think about it, their customers. So anyway, Legoland opens tomorrow, June 1st. That will be the first of the larger parks to start opening, along with their 3 resorts. Universal has a few soft opening days. That will be this week, and that includes team members and then pass holders. We have a reservation, and then they will open on June 5th, and that will also include a lot of their resorts will be opening as well.
Less
Not
than
all
a
of
week
them.
away. That's
I know
crazy.
It's hard to believe.
But we've already been to a theme park because we were at Legoland all day yesterday.
We were, and a friend of ours works at Legoland, Dan, and he was so nice to invite us, and it was not busy, and we had a great time.
It was a friends and family day, sort of a test day for all of the, what are they called? Model citizens. Model citizens. So he is one of them, and it was great. And we'll talk all about that next week, as well as Universal.
Right. And so when the parks open here, it's going to be, and I'm talking Walt Disney World parks, all of the parks will be different in some ways. Walt Disney World, obviously, it's the biggest of all of them. They're going to take a little more time to open up. I hope they'll put some, I would love to see security not going through my stuff with their hands.
It would be great if they did the Universal system.
I would love that. Legoland did not, and I was hoping they would. They still put, like I said, can I at least just move my stuff around so they're not, putting their hands actually in my bag. But there's all kinds of changes that will include mask requirements for 2 and up. Temperature screenings, which are really quick and easy, and then social distancing. Hopefully that will work. There's a pause in new ticket sales, so they are not selling tickets. If you are a pass holder, if you already have tickets, that's fine. And then I don't.
There's also a pause in resort reservations.
Right. I mean, they're not making it easy to make new reservations, and if you already have a resort reservation, I don't think you can't get tickets yet. So let's say we're wanting to come down like July 25th, you already have a reservation and you can come down, then you still can't get tickets
there
yet.
are ways around it. You can get tickets through a third party
I didn't
ticket
think
sellers,
of that, like Maple Leaf or somebody.
Right, and then link that to your My Disney.
You know what? I didn't even think of that. I hadn't even thought of that.
So, but there's other really big changes in what we're going to see at Walt Disney World. You will not see, at least temporarily through the rest of the year, I'm pretty sure you won't see fireworks, parades, character meet and greets, and I don't the most entertainment.
I don't want to say through the end of the year because you never know.
Well, for fireworks, I think it's very likely that we will see them for a while.
You know what? I don't assume anything. Like, what if all of a sudden there was this great treatment, in place?
That's true. You're right. That's true.
I don't assume anything. But for the time being, like dining reservations, dining packages, experiences have been pretty much canceled at this point. So if you were holding, you will probably already know that.
Right. All the Fastpasses I had are all gone, and all my dining reservations have been deleted as well, sadly.
And also there's now a 60-day booking window for dining and experiences like tours that are available. And I actually like that. I think 180 days for you to decide what day you're eating where is a little bit out there. I thought they used to do 90, and I thought that was fine. And I think 60 is a little better, but I was really surprised they canceled everything. And again, FastPass canceled.
Well, you probably won't even need it because, the reason they said they're canceling FastPass is they're using that space so they can have social distancing for the queues, and I think that they're going to limit the attendance at the parks to such a small level that you probably won't need FastPass Plus.
Also, extra magic hours are temporarily suspended, and also character dining. There's no character dining, which is, there's a lot of changes, and I know that some people will cancel their trips. Some of us
or postpone, hopefully.
Right. I think a lot of postponements, but there's some who just want to come no matter what. You can just enjoy the parks with hopefully lower crowds, but I understand that there's going to be people postponing their trips. So also DVC resorts and Disney's Fort Wilderness Resort and Campground will be open to members and guests on June 22nd. And DVC and Hilton Head and Vero Beach, though, open on June 15th, so a little bit earlier.
And I know originally Disney had mentioned or posted that the other resorts will all be opening on the 11th, but I think that's been rescinded since then.
I didn't think it was all of them, but I think it was some of them, and I don't know what will open for the 11th, if anything. Mm-hmm. I think, we're not going to see even if we saw all the resorts open, I don't think we'd see all the sections of the resorts open, and I still don't think we'll see all the resorts open to begin with. Disney also says on the site it may be different from the last time you visited. That is an understatement. But together we can find new ways to create magical moments and memories to treasure. So, the thing is, and we're going to talk about Disney Springs, but when we've gone to Disney Springs and we're wearing our masks and everything, it still feels pretty normal, and things are different, but again, you still can enjoy a lot of normal experiences like usual.
Yeah, yesterday when we were at Legoland, after a while, we were going on rides, and I had the mask, but you forget you're wearing it. It's almost like it's a little bit back to normal, although there was a very, very short crowd there.
Yes, there was, it was not busy. So as far as masks, I don't know if everybody's been wearing them yet or not, and I have found it is summer, so honestly, just being outside in summer is often not easy, whether you're wearing a hat, whether you're just normal clothes.
Right.
But generally, I've been pretty good in masks for a couple hours at a time. I bring extras to
absolutely. That's a big tip right there. Bring 5 each if you can, because as they get sweated out, it's so nice to just take a break and put on a fresh one.
Well, I'm hoping, to get to 10 to 20 just so that I don't have to wash, masks all the time. Just so, if I need 3, 4, 5 in a day, I can just throw them into the washer and then the next set.
You can never have too many masks with you.
Well, yeah, for right now, especially in the heat of summer, which like yesterday was probably 90 degrees. It was actually the worst day for me as far as wearing the mask, just because it was so humid and so hot out. but we did, we dipped into the little bit of air conditioning and everything. So again, hot. It's summer. The parks, they've talked about what if the parks, get like, okay, we have a reservation system that's going to be coming. And so it's going to work sort of like Fastpass for pass holders, where you can get 7 reservations for Fastpass when there was Fastpass. There's none now. And then one would roll off as you used it, and then you could book another day. And I think that's sort of how the new pass holder system will be, and ticket system, for making reservations for the parks.
Well, have we mentioned that? Right. So going forward, to go to a Disney park for the foreseeable future, you have to have a reservation to enter a Disney park when they reopen.
Yeah. So, there's just so many changes that are going to be happening. And I don't know how that will, I don't know why I even started talking about that now, but that's something that, if you're thinking about booking a trip to Disney, once that opens, there's a lot of things that are going to be needed to think about. Oh, that's why I said, because the summer here is one of the slower times, at least in my opinion. You go to Epcot and like nobody's there because it's 90 degrees out and it's Epcot and it's hot. And so when people I've seen online have been worried, what if I can't get a reservation? I don't see that as an issue as much this summer. Maybe fall, maybe winter, if we're still in this where we're still doing the same thing. But it's really hot out, and I don't even want to be in the parks more than a couple of hours at a time.
Well, I just thought I would mention a lot of the special events have been canceled, but one thing that so far has not been canceled is Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, although, of course, they're not selling tickets to it. But I really think that's a real challenge if it goes on, because if you're not having fireworks, parades, or character meet and greets, it would have to be a very different party than we're used to. And of course, you and I are people who go to these parties every single year for 16, 17 years in a row now. So at least for me, it'll be, I think the most interesting thing will be what happens with the Halloween party.
If there is one, if there is a Christmas party, there's so much unknown. And I know that there are probably many of you who have booked and then rebooked and then maybe are rebooking again. And so, I mean, things are changing all the time. Even, when I've been researching the show, things all of a sudden are added, and you have to kind of add to the, to the discussion here. And also, I mean, there are people who tell me online, like there's a lot of people who just think the park should wait to open until everything is normal. But, we're looking at, it could be 6 months, it could be a year, and I guess it isn't really feasible to wait that long. So I understand those who might not want to come yet. We live here, so we can go to the parks as little or as much as we choose. But, you want to go when you feel comfortable to be able to do it as you wish to do it. Right. Because it's not cheap, but some people like to come every month, so probably they would be more likely to come.
Every situation is different. For us, we have annual passes to all these parks, so it's no different in cost to us to decide to go and try it or not try it.
Yeah, there is so much uncertainty. So we're talking about all this, and anything can change at any time. And we're just looking, and this is beautiful footage, by the way.
Yeah, that's why I put it in there. I mean, there's so much nice stuff in the background to see while we're going on and on about all these changes and all these announcements, so many.
And I am hoping that, with what is happening with the coronavirus, that I am hoping that it will bring positive changes to the park that will stay positive through the years. Six Flags put out this fantastic video saying how they have all these terrific changes coming. I don't know how they'll work in real life, but like non-touch security and
right.
stuff.
That is the big thing for me. If Walt Disney World can bring the Disneyland Paris, which is the same as Universal Orlando,
bag check,
where you just put your bag in through a metal detector, or actually it's an X-ray, I guess, like at the airport, touchless, it's efficient. I would love to see that at all around Walt Disney World property.
And, expanded cleaning measures and just things that maybe could have been done all along, but because of this, it is something that, can be enhanced. And so hopefully things will be enhanced that can stay enhanced, after COVID-19. I don't say disappears. It may be something that we're here with forever, but you just don't know.
Well, I really feel good about what Disney's doing, though. It seems like they're taking a cautious approach, and it seems like they want to make it as much magic as possible that they can deliver to the guests. So I like the where that's going. Hopefully it'll work out.
And while we're talking about Disney, I'm going to start talking about Universal Orlando. If you're looking again to come here, and you can go through MEI and Mouse Fan Travel, they have Hard Rock Hotel, Lowe's Royal Pacific, Lowe's Sapphire Falls, Universal's Cabana Bay, Universal's Aventura Hotel, which we've not been over to, and then the Endless Summer Resort. And I just want to say that their resorts are really nice over there, and Universal does a fantastic job. These are Lowe's hotels. Some of them are more upscale. The Portofino Bay not opening, and I'm trying to see what is the other one that would not. There's like one other that is not opening.
I like that it just timed out that we're talking about Universal hotels and we're looking at video of all these great Walt Disney World hotels. So pay no attention.
Yeah, well, we don't know what's going to happen.
Love the Riviera, but that ain't opening.
No,
not quite
yet. It's not opening. I don't know what's happening with it. They're talking about the NBA finishing out their season here, and maybe they'll be taking up some hotel space. Now, actually, Riviera would be open
one of the
because
ones.
it is
DVC.
a DVC resort.
Yeah, see, we timed it all along.
Right. So, there's going to be like Saratoga Springs over by Disney Springs that will be opening as well.
So now we're going to talk a little bit about Disney Springs. Now, this is the last day at Disney Springs before the World of Disney store opened, and I would say it was the slowest day at Disney Springs that we had seen in the few times that we had went. And when we were walking around, we noticed otters in the water.
I was so excited about this. There's something about we went out and then all of a sudden there's otters, and I have rarely seen otters on Disney property. I have known they're there. I have heard about them being at Old Key West. I've seen them in Bay Lake.
When you were so excited, you're like, otters! You screamed it, you were so happy.
Well, yes. And so I just thought it was so fun, and we just followed them as far as we could until we weren't able to follow them anymore. And they looked at us, and they were feeding on fish and whatever else is at the bottom of the lake. And I just thought this was just a fun. I had such a good day this day. We went and got Pizza Ponte pizza.
Oh yeah, we're going to show all of that. And one thing that we found out is they have been around in the lakes around Walt Disney World for many years. And I know you'd seen them on Bay Lake or the Seven Seas Lagoon, one of those, but I have not seen them at Walt Disney World in the wild ever before. So it was really exciting.
I've only seen them like a couple times before ever, and I guess they've been around Disney Springs before, and I don't know why I don't see them. But it's like gators. There's gators on Disney property, but we don't see them very often.
Well, number one, there's no boats running. And when this happened, the amphicars, I think they just started those amphicars today.
The amphicars. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think maybe they were more likely to be acclimated to come around at this point.
Well, again, I've heard that they're I said over twice. Over at Old Key West. I've heard, friends who have stayed there, they've seen them there. So there's certain areas I guess they tend to spend a little more time in, but to see 3 of them for so long, I think it was like 10 or 15 minutes that we could see them pretty well. That like the last time I saw an otter was like 10 years ago in Bay Lake. And, for like a few seconds. And so this was really fun.
Yeah, I know we've seen them at SeaWorld quite a lot in the past.
But
part of shows
not
and
wild,
things.
though.
Right, it's so much different
or
seeing
Animal
them in the
Kingdom.
wild. Oh, yeah, that's right.
They have
a whole enclosure. Yeah, the grotto. I remember when that opened. That was very exciting.
And I love them. It's just there's something different about them being in the wild than being in an enclosure.
So I will link to this in the show notes if you want to see the full otter experience. I just showed a little bit of the highlights for this. And again, you could see how empty Disney Springs was on this day.
But Characters in Flight is running. So that was another place that started running. And I also, this is Wine Bar George, and they have a full food and beverage menu available to go, which I had not known until we went there. We didn't go there on this day because we were eating at Pizza Ponte, But I just thought that was very interesting, and Boathouse is not doing that.
And there you go into Starbucks. We're going to show the Starbucks experience. Very nice. They would open the doors for you. They have the social distancing spots on the floor, which we're very used to now after the day at Legoland yesterday.
Yeah, and it wasn't too busy, and I just wanted to see what it was like, and I was like, okay, I'll just use some of my points. And it was pretty easy. The only thing is I don't like them opening the door where you're almost brushing past them to get in. I don't know, maybe if they opened it from the back if you needed to
But
do
everybody is fully masked.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, I appreciate that.
Right. Oh, and also the NBA experience still not open. I think that'll be a challenge for that one to reopen soon.
Well, we'll see. They could do it if they're wiping everything down probably. But these trash cans, all the trash cans are open, so you can just throw something in as opposed to having to put your hand on it.
And here it is, Maria and Enzo's Pizza Ponte. We've been waiting a long time for this.
Well, Maria and Enzo's is not open, the restaurant itself, but Pizza Ponte, which is attached to it, is. Pizza Ponte has really the best pizza to me at Walt Disney World, except for Via Napoli, but it's also owned by the same company, Patina. And it's very similar, but it's like, there's this place called Eddie and Sam's Pizza in Tampa, and I always used to want to go there, like if we'd go to the Lightning games. And now it's like, I have similar pizza in New York, almost New York style, because they have a couple different kinds of pizza here.
Right at Disney Springs, that it's easy to just order a couple slices and take home. And you can see social distancing in effect here.
Right. The only thing is, like, I thought that the tables inside were a little too close together, but we were taking to go, so it didn't matter for us. You can eat outside as well, so that's what I would do. We're not dining inside at all right now, probably not for a few months or something. So as soon as we feel like it's good to. But this is a pizza, and I always get the cheese pizza, and you always get the pepperoni.
So this here is the very first day of the Disney store, the World of Disney opening. So as we got into Disney Springs, you could see most of the guests were heading right to the Disney World of Disney store to try to get in. I
knew it would be busier on this day than the previous day with the otters, but I had no idea. They got up to like a 6-hour wait at one point, and I think when we got there it was like 3 hours, and it's a virtual wait. They don't let as many guests in. We did not get in line. I did not want to be in line.
Right. This was we realized very soon this was going to be a quick hit and run
very
for us.
Quick.
But we were probably only there for 45 minutes. So we just did a quick walk just to kind of see what the situation was. And the line went all the way back around, all the way past here to rainforest area.
Right. Really long. It was really, and that was just to get be part of like the virtual queue. That isn't
this
even
is just
to get into the store.
To check in. Now they have it done much differently. They have people spaced out, cast members spaced out as you get off the escalators from the garages, and they'll check you in right then and there.
I'm going to say I did not want to go at all on this day because I knew it was going to be crowded. I wanted to go the next day. And so we ended up doing both. Because
why not both?
Well, you want to do this, and I'm just like, Arr.
Well, I didn't want to necessarily go in. I just wanted to kind of cover the first day. I mean, it's exciting to see an actual Disney-run establishment reopening. To me, it was very newsworthy.
It was exciting in a sense. I just want to mention Ghirardelli also just opened. It was not open on this day. It was exciting in a sense, but at the same time, it was too crowded it was a little dense for me in places. The thing is, I think Disney Springs had close to capacity around the time the time we were there, and almost everybody was right here. So instead of spreading out all over Disney Springs, which the next day it was busy-ish still, but everybody was spread out, and World of Disney wasn't
But you see, at least in the line to check in, social distancing was in full force.
But not on the other side. It wasn't.
Right.
So
people were bunched up by the door.
Yes,
and that has been rectified since.
It's much better now, and so it was really, you know what? It's nice to be able to get out, and again, even though we're masked and we're taking temperatures, and you're trying to stay away from people more than usual. it's still a fairly normal experience in many ways.
Right, and we're going to show what it was like just one day later, but this was the part that you didn't like, and it was worse actually earlier than this when we first walked through.
I didn't like any of it.
This is the part you didn't like because there was just so much standing around and closeness, and no matter where you went, there was somebody that would kind of come very close to you, so you had to look 360 degrees in this particular area.
Not just somebody, it was a lot. It was a very dense area, and I don't know why everybody was standing around for this long, because I think they were texting people. I think they were waiting to get in, but I think you could get text and go, and then like within a certain amount of time you could go into the store.
And we found out that a lot of this was for special items that people were waiting for, reselling purposes, things like that. So this wouldn't be a normal World of Disney day anyway. I mean, the store ended up, not the store, Disney Springs ended up letting people in much earlier than the 10 o'clock opening time that it is. I think they let people in at 8 o'clock.
Right. And this is and Deluxe Burger also opened on this day. It was going to open, I think it was at 10:30 a.m. and this was like 10 a.m.
Right.
So it wasn't like they were beating down the doors to get a burger. And I like Deluxe Burger, so I hope we get over there at some point in the near future. But you can't do it all.
Right.
Like I would love to go to Wine Bar George and bring something home. There's so many places.
Well, we have plenty of time.
Yes,
we have plenty of time.
I hope so. Like I hope everything stays open, and that will be the case. Pizza Ponte though was what I missed the most.
And shortly after we left, like it says in our text here, Disney Springs reached capacity for the first time. So it was pretty crazy. Now here is the very next day. Very next day, not at all crowded. We were able to go into the World of Disney with zero wait, just walked in. And this was in the afternoon on the next day.
It wasn't empty. Disney Springs was not empty. It was busy. I would say busy-ish, but obviously not busy, you can tell here. But it was spread out all along Disney Springs very evenly, and it looked like it would be busier in the store than it was. And I mean, you see guests and stuff, but even like right now, the rest of our time in the store felt very empty. It feels very busy actually.
The entrance had the most crowd, and that was I think you had 8 cast members right at the door waving to you as you went in. So, I mean, that felt the busiest of any place. And I think that's a very nice thing to welcome you back. But that was the most crowded I felt.
Well, I don't even remember it being this busy in there. Like, all of my photos are, of almost totally empty areas. And I know, the thing is, busy versus busy like, 3 months ago are totally different.
And you'll notice they have plexiglass now at the registers, which is very nice for the cast members.
And this is what my experience mostly was in World of Disney, was just walking around, not really seeing too many people. And again, you saw everybody walking in. There's a good amount of guests coming in and going out. But not too crazy at all.
And everybody inside the store was fully masked. I didn't see one person without the mask, which was very nice. And again, we didn't have to make a reservation. This is just one day, actually less than 24 hours after this 6-hour wait day that we had before.
And it's funny because I was more concerned about the previous day, and the whole time I was, and you were more concerned about going in World of Disney, and you're like, you didn't really know if you wanted to go in here, and yet
it was delightful.
Videotape.
Right. You can't, you got to give it a try before you know it's not good. I have the power to turn around and leave if I'm not comfortable. And I think that's what you should do.
And also we went to the co-op, and I don't know if you show the co-op here.
Of course we show the co-op.
Okay, well, we'll show the co-op. But I guess there were Baby Yoda plushes here, the child, that arrived again. I saw that they were there again yesterday, but they weren't here on this day because obviously first day everybody bought them.
I see. Maybe that was part of it too. If you wanted your Baby Yoda plush, you had
to
deal with those 6-hour lines.
I think you can get it online.
From the air conditioning of my own house, have it shipped right to my door.
There was something about going into World of Disney, and because we live here and because it's what we're used to, when something familiar opens, it was really nice to be back. It's been very nice to be back at Disney Springs. It's not just a mall to me. It's like you get to see otters and butterflies. It's like, a little nature area and, some of the best dining in the Orlando area and just, our familiar Disney places.
So now we're about to go to the co-op. Now, I didn't know what to think because the co-op is a much smaller area than the World of Disney store. And you can see they have the social distancing if needed on the ground. Now, again, on this day, they just opened the door for us. We just walk right in, and it wasn't too bad.
I think they had a couple hour line that first day, and then we just walked in. We went to Wonderground. That's where really we were heading to. And that was, because it's a smaller store, it was a little cramped to me, but it wasn't bad.
I should mention they have the touchless hand sanitizer stations all around. That was one thing we noticed at Legoland. They still had the old touch versions. I
Over
much
200
prefer
of them.
the touchless.
I bring my own, but if I can use the touchless, but I prefer not to be touching hand sanitizer areas. So, anyway, this is the Wonderground. That's where we were heading to. We have a lot of friends who are artists, and so it was nice again to get back in here. A little bit busier. It was a little busy,
I felt
but
a
not
little
bad.
crowded back here in this area, and there's only one entrance and one exit, so you kind of have to go through the little hallway to get out, which can be a little tight, and I'm going to show that. So you cannot leave the way you came in. You have to go through this store here to the trendy store to leave, which can get a little tight.
I actually didn't realize that. I didn't know why. We usually
go that way. Also, BB Wolf's. So if you wanted a hot dog, you can absolutely get a hot dog. Now, this area where hot dogs were previously consumed unofficially.
And a lot of people won't know what you're talking about,
but it's
okay.
They can look it up on Twitter. But you'll see there are no tables or chairs for such a thing to happen.
But Cook's will be opening on the 3rd and Raglan Road on the 10th. Cook's, again, one of my favorite restaurants, and Raglan Road too, but Cook's we go to more often because it's counter. Stormtroopers were there again, and this was really fun. They talk about social distancing and they talk about masks and other things, and it was
a female stormtrooper right there, which was a new development.
I think it's nice that they have a little entertainment at Disney Springs. I'd even like to see a little more, but they had 2 areas with stormtroopers.
Well, this is a really great test for what you may be seeing at the Walt Disney World parks with characters. I mean, it's still nice. You can even take a picture with the characters in the background with full social distancing, as long as there are not too much of a crowd built up watching it. But it goes on continuously all day, so there's really no need to make a crowd happen. And as long as it continues to be all day, I think that will occur.
Well, I don't consider it a test because Disney has done this with Disney Villains After Hours with, that is a whole big villains event with no character meet and greets, and also some of the Disney runs and, other events that you have characters, but you don't always get to meet them. So this is just one way, though, to enjoy it, and you can interact a little bit. And, you can still have a good time with characters, even if for now you're not meeting them.
And they also were appearing at the AMC Theater, which it was very interesting because it started to get very, very windy, and these banners ended up kind of blowing up into them, so they had to cut the show short. Normally they're out until 7:30 as of now, and it's continuous. As I said, I think that is the key, is having it nonstop. As soon as they walk off, more come back on, so you don't have a need to crowd and watch them.
Well, I just a storm was coming, so the banners were starting to really blow up. Like when I was taking a little bit of a clip also with my camera, and you can see me just blowing around, and I have like a stabilizer on the phone, so...
Well, my hat blew off, so in one of my videos, you see me all of a sudden chasing my hat way over to Haleo.
It's been really fun to be able to kind of get out, although we also spend a lot of time inside, too.
And that is another show, a very quick 35 minutes.
Yeah, that was pretty quick to do that, but thanks to our sponsor, MEI Travel and Mouse Fan Travel. You can tell in our 15 minutes talking about everything with the parks and with the resorts. I'm not a travel agent anymore. I was for 6 years. It's been many years since then, but they can really help to guide you through, especially now with so many changes. They really have to stay on top of that. So I really do recommend them. and they can assist in any way needed.
And really, the changes are almost every day.
It feels like
times,
it, yes.
So it's just crazy. Nice to have somebody in your corner.
Right, and again, they've been in business over 20 years, and I know Becky's been working really hard and really overtime right now.
So once again, we apologize for the slight delay in the show.
Yeah, on Friday, because I wrote that, we were delaying it and thank you for your understanding. And then everybody's like, oh, what's going on? But nothing's going on except, just there are times that the news is so hard. And, even with COVID-19, there are days where it's like, oh, I don't know if I want to do a show because I'm really not in that mind space. But on top of that, with, racial injustice and just everything going on right now, I have a big diverse family, and so it really affects me as well. I think it affects all of us in one way or the other, and this has been going on for days and a week now, and
right.
So much just
sometimes this stuff doesn't seem as important as other things, but you take a couple days to get back in things,
right? And it seems almost inappropriate to be doing shows at times, even though, something is always happening. Like, I watch the news all day. There's always something that you have to kind of say, okay, I'm doing the show now, and then I can get back and really focus on this. But I had tears in my eyes all Friday. I had a headache. I broke, and there are just days like that. So, I just hope everybody's doing okay. And, things are not always as good as you'd love them to be. I don't know what to say. Like, I get a million words in my head, and there's so many things happening right now, and it's hard to take a million words and try to condense them into one thing. But everybody just,
Yeah, be safe, and we will be back next week, and have a great week, everybody.
Yes, have a great week.